let's use some more examples. Does anyone in here live in the valley? You do, right? How long does it take you to get from your house to school on a typical day? On the average, like, you know, no.
Half hour to 40 minutes.
Okay. So let's all imagine for a second we're Caleb. And we're driving, and it's 40 minutes from his house to school, and we have a test in 45 minutes that if we're late for it, the professor's shutting the doors, you can't start, it's a time test. And if you're not there on time for the time test, you don't get to take it. Can you picture that? Okay. When you come to school, do you go through the canyon or do you go over the divide?
Usually the divide.
You go over the divide? Okay. And it's a single lane. It's not a single lane. It's two lanes, and it's very narrow, and it's very steep, both coming and going. Okay. So Caleb's driving over. He's got a test in 45 minutes. It's a really important test. And you're Caleb. And as you start up the steep part of your side of the hill, where it's going north, it's going south, and you're going quite steep, right? Right before there's a really old guy that pulls in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay, can you picture that? He's in a big old car and he can barely see over the steering wheel.
He's going like 10 miles.
It's a Cadillac. And you can't go over that too fast anyway, but Caleb's,
And Caleb
he
drives every day, so he's like, let's go.
he's right behind him, and Caleb knows how to drive that, so it's probably no big deal. But he can't pass him because there's cars coming the other way in a continuous flow. So there's no way that he can get around this guy all the way over the hill and back down to 2,600, 3,100? 3,100, right? Which is, what's that, 5 miles of road time? Somewhere around there. And he's got to go, he usually goes 40 or 50 and 60 on the way down, but now he's going 15 all the way up and all the way down. There's no way that he can. So, Caleb, what's going to be your first thought? What's your going to be? So the stimulus is the old guy in front of you. Yes? In a slow-moving Cadillac. He hasn't gone fast for 40 years. We know that guy. We see him all the time. So you're behind him. The stimulus is the guy's in front of you. What's going to be your response? What is your condition? Because it's not an automatic, natural response. What's your conditioned response going to be to this stimulus when you are very likely going to be late for this test? You can't take it. It might profoundly affect your grade. All kinds of bad things are going to... What's going to be your immediate response, Caleb?
Probably get pretty mad at it.
You're going to be just screaming. And now, that would be... If all of us were Caleb, we'd probably think, well, I would be really mad too. And I'm not saying don't get mad. I'm not saying that. But the question is, it may not be likely, but is it possible to think about this situation differently? Is it possible? In other words, can you do everything you need to do without this happening? Jenny?
Like my first go-to, like after like the maybe like screaming and getting mad.
For that, yeah.
Yeah, my first like go-to thought is always like everything happens for a reason. Like there's probably a reason this is happening. Like, you know, when things are out of your control, you need a go-to thought like that. So, I mean, because you could think a million different things, but usually you're not going to be able to come up with an explanation like, well, I can do this later or not or whatever, but you just need a thought like that and then think about something else. And
Now, whether that's true or not everything happens for a reason, doesn't matter. What's that?
I said it doesn't matter if it's true.
It doesn't. It doesn't matter at all if it's true or not. I mean, if you think about when you're driving and you start thinking about all the bad things that are going to happen because you missed the test, how many of those things are true? Maybe a couple of them, but when you go follow it to, man, I'm going to blow this class, and then I'll lose my scholarship, and we take that to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and we're just making those up anyway. And all of those, the thing about all those thoughts is they sound like this. Oh, crap. Right? So what Jenny's done is she said, I'm going to choose a thought that doesn't include a threat thought. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter. I'm still going to make that a thought that makes it so that when I'm driving and that old guy goes in front of me, I don't go this way. So she remains peaceful. She remains in balance. She remains in homeostasis.